Okay, all right, let's get this party started. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Source Material. My name is Jesse Starcher, and tonight that's not the way to get this started. It just go right off in a tangent.
Yvonne! This podcast is on the Instagram!
Man.
Jessica Jones!
Jessica Jones! So, tonight we're talking...
Jessica Jones!
Jessica Jones! At some point, we're going to start talking about it. We are discussing the 2016 series, I want to say. Jessica Jones, Volume 1, Uncaged. Now, there was two that I saw. One was from 2015. The Uncaged graphic novel that we're talking about is the first 6 issues of the 2016 series. So we're doing this for a reason. And here to tell you that reason is Mark Radulich. But before we get to him, I got to say hi to Ronnie Adams. See how I do those intros. I did a swerve. Intro. Ronnie Adams, how you doing?
I've forgotten how to podcast, Jesse.
What is this? What is this thing that sticks out from my headphones?
That's his penis.
No.
What?
Wrong.
Why does it always go down that road with you?
That's Mark Radulich. Mark Radulich.
Hello!
Never-ending penis jokes.
Isn't it awfully nice to have a penis?
Oh, missed the soundboard. So, Mark, we chose Jessica Jones. You chose.
Are we already done with Jesse? With Ronnie, rather?
No, yeah, Ronnie said his piece. Everybody knows what he sounds like. He made a joke.
Let's hear from Ronnie Adams. Shut up, Ronnie. All right.
Right?
Why did we decide to go with Jessica Jones and talk about that this evening?
Jessica Jones season 2 comes out on Netflix Thursday, March 8th. So we are going to stop harumphing. We are going to do a TV party for it on the 15th of March. And so to gear up for that, to synergize with that, we here on the Source Material are going to review a trade paperback of the latest Jessica Jones series. Gotcha.
Before we get into the story itself here, like I said, it came out in Marvel 2016. This was, it was after the first series released, right, from Netflix?
Yeah,
the first Netflix series release. So this comes out after that. Let's, Ronnie, I'll just go ahead.
I'm pretty sure because Miles Morales and Kamala Khan show up in the first issue of this. And, were they in the 616, the current continuity when...
Help me out. What do you mean? I'm
trying to figure out timelines.
Oh, okay.
I'm bad at this.
Okay, this references Secret Wars, though.
Does it?
Yes, it does. We'll talk about that here in a second. What I'm asking,
I remember. Okay,
this comic book series came out. Did it come out after the Netflix series that was released?
I'm pretty sure. Yes,
I think you're right too. I think
that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure.
Why don't you guys keep going here, and I'm going to look up when the first season of Jessica Jones came out.
All right,
because it'll be on my schedule.
What, Ronnie Adams, what do you think of the Netflix series when it released?
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was not what I was expecting. So it took a
second
watch.
I wish Pat were here. We need Pat and Gavin for this.
They hate everything, and admittedly so. I mean,
they do.
Yeah,
they were especially. I'm laughing because they were especially brutal to this show.
Well, it was probably one of the most dark of the Marvel series. I mean, Daredevil got dark in some places, but I really think
it was dark. Yeah, and it was. It's not a superhero show per se. I mean, it's not Daredevil or Iron Fist or anything like that. It's more of a detective show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you have to go into the show knowing that. So I did not. So it was like not my favorite thing. It's still, I have a respect for it, but it's still like it's not the top of the line for me in the Marvel shows.
Would you say it's like bottom 5?
Yeah.
Okay. I can understand that. I remember watching it with my wife, and I enjoyed it. Jessica Jones was clearly a broken character, and then
mm-hmm.
Deservedly so for all the crap that she had to go through.
Well, yeah,
in that series by the hands of the Purple Man,
which they did an excellent job in Alias, the first Jessica Jones series.
the series for Marvel. Mm-hmm.
It was Bendis that did that, I think, and he did this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
They did an excellent job of taking a man named the Purple Man, just a Z-list character, and turn him into something that you just despise instead of laugh at.
Yeah, a very formidable foe.
Yeah,
and a very twisted guy as well. So many props go to David Tennant for portraying him.
Oh, heck yeah.
So well in the series. David Tennant's one of my favorite actors. He's my favorite Doctor. For any Doctor Who fans out there, that's everybody except for Ronnie Adams.
Not everybody likes Doctor Who. I'm sure there's others out there, like-minded individuals.
I don't watch Doctor Who.
Well, then you guys obviously are missing out. Ronnie, I tried to get Ronnie to watch a couple episodes. And
I watched a couple of episodes.
Okay.
That's why I don't like it.
All right then. So,
I mean, I was just saying, this show and my show, I've always been a staunch Doctor Who naysayer.
Yes, you have. And
at least I'm consistent.
We won't have a discussion about that, but we can both agree on the fact that
Doctor Who sucks.
No, David Tennant was a great actor.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. All right, so we did a Jessica Jones review Wednesday, November 25th of 2015.
Okay, so the series came out, and then Netflix series came out, and then this comic book series came out. So this is a character that if you were watching Netflix and it was brought to you, this was Netflix was your first exposure to that character. This book it doesn't pick up where the other one, where the series lays off or anything like that, but you get a sense of the character that was in Netflix is definitely the character you deal with here in this comic book series. Mark, I mean, what do you think of the Netflix series before we proceed with the book?
I loved it. It's probably my second favorite of all the Marvel TV shows. My first one being Luke Cage, obviously, because #Black folks. But
oh my God.
Why is that a problem for you?
It's not a problem.
Okay.
You say things that make me nervous.
Are you afraid because I said #Black folks, Al Sharpton's going to run into your house and hit you with the chair?
You never know.
Okay. Anywho. So anyway, I loved Luke Cage. It's my favorite of all the Marvel shows. I frankly didn't think there was enough music, and I seem to be in the minority on that.
Yes, sir, you are.
Everyone's just like, too much music. Oh, no.
I need another concert, please. Can we put another concert in here?
Why is there so much music? I hate music. Ugh. So anyway, Jessica Jones was my second favorite. I enjoyed the delving into the psyche of a battered and abused woman. I enjoyed the nod towards rape culture in the show. I know that made a lot of guys uncomfortable. A lot of guys we know uncomfortable. I mean, it's easy to say, oh, we'll dismiss them because they hate everything. They specifically hated it for that reason, and they were very dismissive. People pointed to the fact that the show was empowering for women, and then you had guys sort of tearing it down, going, "How is it empowering for women? For her to behave the way she did?" It was empowering because, of if you think about like the Me Next or Me Too, the Me Too movement that's recently gone on.
Not the Me Next movement.
Yeah, that's a terrible name for a movement, especially with what's been going
on. Me Too. When you think about what women are talking about, they're saying that aspects of our
Sorry, go ahead.
Aspects of our lives are marginalized. The sexual abuse, the mistreatment, and all of these things. It's only been in recent years that women could speak up en masse, and only en masse were they even acknowledged and something was done about it. And I think Jessica Jones spoke to that, and it spoke to it well. And I don't think a lot of guys are comfortable with it. I am a feminist. Hear me roar.
Jessica Jones. All right, so we have a tale. We have a tale here that is told by one Brian Michael Bendis. The artist is Michael Gatos. Our colors are Matt Hollingsworth. All right, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to synopsis. We got 6 issues to go through. So I'll do synopsis for 2 issues apiece. Ronnie, I think I gave you the first set. I'll take the second set. Mark, you got the final set, and we're just going to bring up a talking point for each one of those that we have, and then we will call it a night here, go through plugs and all that good fun stuff. All right, there's your format. All right.
So he thinks.
All right, issues 1 through 2. Jessica Jones, once an Avenger, is now getting released from jail. The reasons she was in jail are a mystery, but even more strange is the unknown person that posted her bail. Attempting to get back to what she considers normal, Jessica returns to her private eye business, Alias Investigations. But she has encounters with Misty Knight, Spider-Woman, and Luke Cage. The encounter she has with them, they are asking her the same question, all 3 of them. Where's Jessica and Luke's daughter? As she tries to avoid answering anyone who is asking, Jessica takes on a case for a wife by the name of Mrs. Brownlee, whose husband doesn't believe he is in the right reality, and she wants to hire Jessica to find out if that is actually the case. A day or so later, during the investigation, Jessica receives a call from the wife's phone, but there's a detective who looks an awful lot like Gus Fring from Breaking Bad on the other side, insisting that Mrs. Brownlee has been murdered by her own husband. Before she can explain, she is attacked and knocked unconscious by the criminal known as the Spot. The Spot. What do you think of the Spot there, Mark? You ever see that guy before?
I thought that was very Looney Tunes.
It was.
He's very much as he's a Spider-Man
villain.
Villain.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've ever read anything with him in it, but yeah, I've heard of him. But as soon as I saw the fist coming out of he's unmistakable. He's just completely pale white with black dots all over him, and he's invisible and can hit you like right out of nowhere. Very much like a Looney Tunes animation. But all right, Ronnie Adams.
Missing a mallet.
Yeah, there you go. Ronnie Adams, issues 1 through 2, my man. What do you think?
Right off the bat, I mean, if you've ever read anything in the past with her, you don't expect Jessica Jones, unless it's like Alias or any of her solo stuff, to be this.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't expect her to be this rough. I mean, but she is the epitome of like the hardened private detective. Like, the private detective movies you always see spoofed in other movies, or the actual movies where you walk into it's just a dark office with a desk in it, a liquor bottle in the drawer, and they're talking to themselves. Why'd she have to walk into my office? Kind of a deal. I mean, it's very noir. It's very her whole situation is very noir, very very old detective movie-esque, and I love that because it's so different
for a superhero. Which we didn't really even talk about her power set. Can she fly? Because that comes up a couple times. I don't know if she can fly or she can or she jumps. One or the other. I know she can jump.
At one time I thought she had the power of flight, but not like. It's kind of like Jessica Drew. She can levitate really fast.
Okay.
Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like Superman flight, or even though that's a different comic book company, or anything like that. It's very limited.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if, and in this she just looks like she's just jumping.
Yeah. So yeah, and also she's got super strength.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I say super strength. I mean, it's more like
enhanced strength.
Yeah.
She's not as strong as Luke Cage, but she's pretty strong.
And if you've watched the series, kind of what you get with that character is what you're seeing here. He still seems kind of broken, kind of distant, very closed off to people, sarcastic.
Right off the bat, they lead you to believe that, right off the bat, they're like, where's the baby? Where's the baby?
Dude, I didn't even know. I'm okay. Well, I shouldn't say that, because I have read a book that was called Secret War. Okay. Now this was different from Secret Wars. I think this was an espionage SHIELD play where Nick Fury was involved. And I remember, I think it was Luke Cage who was either Luke Cage was in a coma or Jessica Jones was in a coma. But I remember for some reason there being mention of her being pregnant in that book. But yeah, I knew that she was pregnant at one point. I did not know they had a baby. And
yeah, I've read some Avengers stuff where they've addressed them having a baby, and they've shown the baby. I think in what's the storyline with the Secret Invasion?
Okay,
Jarvis is a Skrull, and he kidnaps their baby.
Oh, okay.
So I've read a lot of stuff where the baby has debuted. Squirrel Girl was her babysitter for her nanny for a while, and that's where I found out that apparently Wolverine and Squirrel Girl had a thing at one time.
Oh yeah, I did not know that she. I didn't know she had the baby. I didn't know what all became of that. So, and clearly, this is Secret War. I think happened in like 2004. It was before Civil War happened, if I remember correctly, and everybody's mind was wiped, if I remember right. Also. What was the other thing that happened in here? I think it was, it might have been the issue 2 where they were kind of looking at that backstory. She was pregnant and Luke was talking to her. I sent it to Mark here on the chat. Well, I sent it to all of us on the chat where he was reciting that story where he met up with Dr. Doom and he's like, "Give me my money, honey."
Yeah.
That's some classic of Luke Cage right there.
What was the total of the sum of the money?
$200.
Yeah, that's right.
$200.
He went after a master of the
Mystic Arts,
and desperate ruler of a country for $200.
Hey man, a bitch better have my money, not some, not half, but all my cash. I enjoy a good mystery, and that's what this was. Why is she in prison? Why is she being bailed out by this? Who is this mystery person that bails her out? Why is she bailing her out? Is she going to betray Captain Marvel? Is she on the side of Captain Marvel? Why is she hiding the baby? This was very cinematic in that respect.
Yeah.
They threw a lot at you in the beginning, and by the end of the trade, it's all neatly tied together, but it leaves her, her decisions to go through with this plot and save the day and be a hero make her worse off than when she started, and that's kind of her tragic tale. It's one of the things I liked about the book. Things never work out for her, no matter how hard.
Ever.
Yeah,
the universe hates Jessica Jones. She's the Charlie Brown of Spider-Man occasionally gets the girl, and has good things happen to him. She nothing good ever happens to Jessica Jones,
and that's a key point to remember, because that. Not only do we realize that as readers, but she begins to realize that throughout this book. And of course, we'll talk about that as we get towards the end. But yeah, it's just bad luck for her left and right. Again, am I wrong in saying the detective is Gus Fring? I wish I could remember the actor's name. That is that dude, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, Pollo Loco or whatever the thing is from Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, looks just like him. And that had to have been on purpose. And I'm wondering if that pays off later on, not in this series, or not
later on. They eat chicken together or make meth.
You know what?
Or make chicken meth.
Interesting.
Feed meth to chickens.
Did you guys recognize or realize or see? Did you see the color of his tie?
A chicken eating meth?
The color of Gus Fring's tie throughout the whole issue.
I've got the book open. I'm looking for a picture of Gus Fring.
Yes, take a look at the color of his bow tie.
It's probably purple.
It is, and that has to come up later on in the series. This is 12 issues, I think, total. So makes me wonder. I don't know, but there was a point where I was like, I wonder if this is the Purple Man somehow, some way. But anyway. That's neither here nor there. My theory that it's Gus Fring blasted into an alternate reality is probably more probable than it being the Purple Man. I'm just putting that out there. All right, let's get into issues 3 and 4. So she's knocked unconscious by the Spot. All right, while she's in the middle of that conversation with the detective,
like you do if you're George Lucas.
Poor Jessica.
What's the best way I can show I love this woman?
Punch her and then tell her you love her.
Punch her in the teeth.
Tell her you love her right afterward. As she's unconscious. So Jessica, after being attacked by the Spot, awakes being tied to a chair in a basement. Her abductor, a woman by the name of Allison, claims that she was the one that got Jessica Jones out of prison and is now laying out a convincing argument as to why Jessica should consider giving her information about her so-called friends, the heroes that turned their back on her while she was in jail, essentially trying to get her to become a mole. She allows Jessica to leave of her own free will, and Jessica seems to be considering Allison's point of view. A short time later, Jessica Jones meets with Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, and discloses her encounter with Allison, and it appears that this has all been set up with Jessica Jones as bait. When Jessica tells Carol that it was Allison Green that she met with, Carol is very concerned, as this was apparently a civilian that Carol had interrogated rather roughly in the past, and has now turned her into a formidable threat, as there have already been 3 heroes murdered with many more expected. Leaving, Jessica Jones is determined to meet up with the detective about Mrs. Brownlee's murder, and it turns out her husband, Mrs. Brownlee's husband, Mr. Brownlee, has been waiting in a holding cell just to talk to Jessica. Asking for Jessica, as a matter of fact. That's issues 3 and 4, so I guess I got the talking point here. This is clearly where they kind of, is it this or is it that? Where, okay, now we have Allison who has talked Jessica into possibly turning on her friends, but then shortly thereafter we find out it's all a big setup by Carol Danvers and S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, I say Carol Danvers. S.H.I.E.L.D. is kind of like left in the dark here. But, I don't know. At this point, I'm trying to figure out if Jessica Jones is happy with the fact that she was in jail. I don't recall them saying why she went to jail. Do you guys remember that at all? Did they say why?
I can't recall. Yeah,
they never. I don't believe they ever actually said why she was in jail.
Okay.
Just that putting her in jail was to make it look like she had fallen as far as she could go. It would be easy pickings for this Allison broad.
Yeah, and the point I was trying to make here in regards to the will they won't they thing. I mean, Mark said it earlier. This is a mystery, and almost along the lines of, and I wouldn't say a spy mystery, but like a crime drama. Mark, how many times did you watch S.H.I.E.L.D. where somebody was, or the S.H.I.E.L.D., like that, The Wire, and the S.H.I.E.L.D. probably? How many times have you watched that show where they were doing the whole setup and getting ready, trying to get somebody to be bait in order to catch the bad guy?
Oh, all the time.
Happened quite a bit, I would imagine.
Yep.
Let's talk about Luke Cage. A good bit of this book is Luke Cage's struggle to try and deal with the fact that Jessica just will not tell him where the kid is. And it's almost kind of heartbreaking to watch Jessica throw what she had, if there's anything left between her and Luke. I don't even know if there was at the beginning. In the TV episodes themselves, it's definitely a strained relationship, if there's a relationship there at all. Very thin line.
I have 2 questions. Ronnie, one, does this follow in the same continuity as Alias? And is this the sort of one in the Pulse? Is this all one continuous story?
I think.
Okay. And have you heard of the, I think it's a middle school teacher who ran a white supremacist podcast? Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't.
A Florida school is investigating a social studies teacher who was behind an anti-Islam, anti-Semitic, racist podcast and social media account.
Wonderful.
That was all over the news this morning.
Wow.
Oh, good.
I haven't heard anything about that. Podcast, ladies and gentlemen, for your niche talk radio market, there's comics and then there's white supremacy. Choose one, but choose wisely.
Yep.
Anyway,
what?
Yeah.
All right, back to the serious topic
Luke
of
Cage.
Here.
Okay, Luke Cage. Tell me what.
I really felt for him in this, because here's a guy, like, I've read some of Alias. I haven't read all of it yet, but I've read some of Alias, and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones obviously become a thing, and it's like he's like the only guy that really understands her. How many times as a man have you been in the position of apologizing for a crazy woman, and you're like, everyone else is like, run like hell, she's nuts. You're like, no, you don't understand. You don't know her the way I know her. That sort of shit. They get married and they have a kid. And then all of a sudden, for no good reason, she ends up in prison. The kid disappears. And he's like, just give me at this point, like, you're a lunatic. And that's fine. Be a lunatic somewhere else. But give me my child. And then, like, the pain that she has in keeping it from him, knowingly keeping it from him, because she has this mission to accomplish and she can't let him in on it lest anyone find out that she's, full of shit. And at the end of the day, yeah, she saved the day, but she loses her daughter. And it's like, I mean, see, this is like when my wife asked, like, why do you read comics? Like, this is why I read comics. Because when they're written well, they're written about people with
real issues,
stupendous abilities, but real human issues. Because take away the fact that he can't be he can't be penetrated, and she's
unlike
strong.
Matt.
Oh, let's giggle. Let's giggle.
You know what I mean, you silly guys.
I wasn't laughing.
He's invulnerable. She's super strong, but that's not the point. That's not the point of the book. The point of the book is their conflict with each other
and internal conflict.
And internal conflict. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Ronnie.
Hold on. I want you to make that into a ringtone for me.
You're absolutely right.
Absolutely right, Jed. You're absolutely right.
All right, let's get into issues 5 and 6. And then Mark Radulich will send us out of here with his final talking point. Here we go. We last left Jessica Jones getting ready to walk into the holding cell to talk to Mr. Brownlee, this murderous dude that she was initially investigating. And I think she somewhat blames herself a little bit too, because of all the crap that's been going on around her. At one point, she was tailing Mr. Brownlee, and then something happened that I think she noticed. That was when she noticed Spider-Woman took off after her, and she lost track of this guy. So she probably blames herself for the fact that this, or at least feels somewhat responsible for the fact that this guy murdered his wife. Now, remember, this guy says that because he was saying he was from a different reality, and that was what his wife was initially concerned about. But now his wife is dead at his own hands. So,
because nothing matters.
Yes, the discussion with Mr. Brownlee leads to some revelations. Number one, he is most likely from a world prior to the events of Secret Wars. For those that have not really, me and Ronnie, I think me and you covered issues 1 through 9, didn't we? Each issue, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. You can go back in the archive, check those out if you can find them there. But I can tell you, the sum of it all is a bunch of heroes came together, and
Ben Grimm turned into a wall.
Johnny Storm became the sun.
Turned into the sun.
There was some very bad stuff that happened. Our heroes of the Marvel Universe had to make a decision and brought all of these alternate realities down to one. And that's the current Marvel Universe that we're seeing. What they thought happened, there were some heroes that remembered this occurring, some that their minds were completely wiped and think that this reality is the reality that's supposed to be. There are also some civilians out there, such as Mr. Brownlee, that for some reason or another remember the reality that they were in and are now stuck with this reality. And that has drove him. Number two, I was going down a list here. Number one, he is most likely from a world prior to the events of Secret Wars. Number two, he remembers everything that the heroes did to try and save one reality while ending scores of others. Number three, this realization has drove him insane to the point where he killed his wife and drank her blood. Number four, he now believes nothing matters. And his story is so convincing that Jessica now has even more reason to distrust the heroes, her friends, that surround her. Now, after this discussion with Mr. Brownlee, or interrogation, whatever you want to call it, he confessed, so there's not really much to interrogate about, but just this discussion with him. Allison returns, and Jessica is now more than willing to accept her offer of money in exchange for information so her and her daughter can get away from New York and this insane life. She gives Allison all the info she needs to take out Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers. And Jessica says she wants to watch because what difference does it make? Nothing matters. As Allison, Jessica, and the Spot lure Carol Danvers to the same place they had met a few days before, the attack begins. Using technology to dampen Carol's powers, Allison has the upper hand, gloating and giving her details about the next few superhero hits that are coming after Carol is killed. Finally, Jessica looks at Carol and asks if that is enough, and the jig is up. Allison and the Spot and her thugs walked into a shield trap, and the bad guys are now under arrest. Somewhat satisfied with saving the day, Jessica heads to her mother's house to go see her daughter, only to find that Luke Cage was there a short time earlier and took their girl with no intent on forgiving Jessica for the anguish that she had put him through. And that's how we end issues 5 through 6 there. So, Mark, what's your thoughts, man?
Well, like I said before, if you whether or not you have a child, you have to totally sympathize with Luke Cage. and what he was going through, and he has no idea what she's doing or why she's doing it. She just knows that he hid his kid. And I know that there's no good reason. There's no reason good enough for my wife to ever hide my kids from me. Mm-hmm. So, imagine how he feels, and then turn it around and imagine how she feels, where she's like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I got her out of harm's way because I have to go deep cover to get this woman who's out to get the superheroes. And it's like even when she wins, she loses.
Yeah, and it's not like Luke Cage didn't give her a chance after chance to just say, all he wanted was her daughter. Why couldn't she just say, okay, well, yeah, go get your daughter. I'm not telling you anything here that I'm doing, but you can go get her. And I don't think
you think your wife would willingly give up her, having control of where her children were.
I don't know about that. I kind of can see where she's coming from here. But I would say that her daughter was probably, I don't know. I would want to say that
we also don't know what the context of their relationship is.
That's true.
At some point, she could have just walked away from both her and the kid and said, I'll be back when I'm ready. And he probably would have taken her back, no harm, no foul. Mm-hmm. But we don't know where they are in their relationship when she's just like, nope, I'll just bring the kid to my mom's.
Yeah, and the relationship with her mom, she was intent on hiding her daughter from anybody trying to find her. Because there's a point where I think Luke and Iron Fist are sitting there talking about, okay, Luke's pissed. He's clearly pissed. And it takes Danny Rand saying, okay, well, where would be the last place that she would take her? And finally, Luke realizes, well, yeah, it's because her and her mom haven't talked in forever. That's something that leads him to believe. Go ahead.
The other thing to think about is it all ended up working out rather neatly. But what if it didn't? And what if this woman tried to hurt Jessica? She would immediately go after Luke Cage and the kid.
True. Or,
she would at the very least go after Luke Cage, and the kid would be in harm's way. Yeah. So that's, I think, the other reason why she went out of her way to hide her with her mom, where nobody looking for a superhero's kid's going to go look.
Yeah.
I think overall, last year, from my deathbed, we reviewed the Greg Rucka Wonder Woman, and I remember. Well, we actually just reviewed the one story, but it was edited into the Greg Rucka trade paperback run for Wonder Woman. And I remember talking about the Greg Rucka run and saying, like, this is a really weird comic book because nothing like really heroic happens. It's like Wonder Woman just kind of walking around doing stuff, and being a diplomat, but
going shopping.
Well, this was Hikatea, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah. And while it's not, I wouldn't say it's that level, but it really, a lot of this story is just the trials and tribulations of this really broken woman, which is weird for a comic book. When in the hero universe, there are lots of different kinds of comic books out there. Not every one of them is about heroes, but Marvel and DC. That's both. Well, no, Marvel. That's their stock and trade. DC stock and trade is the universe exploding.
Well, here's something to remember.
It's coming to get everyone.
Here's something to remember, though. What the writer that we're reading right now is about to be unleashed on Superman. Brian Michael Bendis is going to be taking over the helms, the helms. The reins? Helms?
The reins.
Shane Helms? The Hurricane?
The Hurricane. Stand back.
Stand back. He is about to take over writing Superman. So these tales that we're hearing, being told that are it is, isn't it? I mean, we talked about what we thought he was going to do on the Brian Michael Bendis show. Superman, I don't think was one of the options.
I don't think so.
We didn't think that was going to be happening because it's such a grand scale and such a huge character.
I'd rather see him like Hawk and Dove or.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see if
Batman.
The personal tales that Mark, you're right. He can write a dark character, a brooding character. Jessica Jones are both of those things. Superman is not. So
But I'll tell you what, I can see why they made the decision, because I'm already interested in reading Superman, and I own very, very few anything Superman. I really don't like the character.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see what his take will be, and how he spins a tale, and how he tells a story with Superman at the forefront. But anyway, yeah, these realistic stories, just like you're talking about, Mark, compared to the universe crashing DC, it's stark contrast. Anything else before we close up shop here?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, Ronnie.
I'm good.
You got any final thoughts on the book? Did you like it? What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of keep it the same. For me, it's in the same vein of Alias. It's just like, really dark.
Yeah, it was all over the place for me, kind of.
Yeah.
On the second read, I kind of understood. I didn't understand what the hell the point of Mr. Brownlee was until I read it the second time, and the purpose of him is to make Jessica Jones and you, the reader, doubt her allegiance to her friends. And because what he's talking about there, if you're familiar with the Marvel Universe, then you know this guy is telling the truth, because that happened. And what a twist! That happened, and you're sitting there wondering, well, is she going to ask? And she does. And I think in that final issue, she asked Carol Danvers, hey, did this happen? Did this actually happen? Carol just brushes her off. Does not acknowledge anything, if I remember correctly. She just kind of brushes her off. And there's a panel where Jessica Jones just kind of looks at her, and she has this, like, you're full of shit look on her face, or more along the lines of, okay, this may be worth investigating to find out if that actually happened. But regardless, that's why it was kind of all over the place for me. I thought it would be more grounded than it was. Oh shit, here we're talking about Secret Wars and what happened in Secret Wars, and how does that tie into this?
I have to say, I really enjoyed this.
Okay.
Like I said, I like a good mystery. I like the fact that despite it being tied up at the end, Jessica still loses her daughter. She really got nothing out of this.
Oh yeah, that last panel is her on the grounds with her face in her hands, and she's kneeling and she's bawling. It's sad.
Yeah, I mean, I know Ronnie doesn't necessarily. Ronnie likes to read comics to escape, and to a degree, so do I. But I also like something that really pulls at the heartstrings, and gives you something really gritty and thick to bite into. And to me, that's what this was.
Yeah, no, I enjoy a good storyline as well, and tugging at the heartstrings, things like that doesn't bother me. I think mostly when I say I read to escape, I don't like political stances in comic books. That's where I was going with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything politically political about this.
Oh no,
I didn't think so either.
I didn't mean this. I meant the Flintstones.
That dark time in source material history.
Oh, Ronnie.
I think that brings our discussion about Jessica Jones, Uncaged.
Can I read you the 2019 calendar?
No.
Gosh. Well, let's see. We're closing up shop here. I think we're going to get to our plugs. I don't think there's much else to say about the book itself. I look forward to the new season. Me personally, I'm curious as to what they're going to do with the new season. I don't know much about it. I haven't really watched them. I think I may have seen part of the trailer, but
well, I mean, she has to deal with the fact that she fucking murdered the Purple Man.
So that's
she wasn't necessarily responsible, but she was there when allegedly Daredevil died. So that's a lot of death in a very short period of time for a woman who was already kind of broken.
Well, I was impressed with the first season. I hope they do well this second season. I know Luke Cage will be, because I saw that in the previews. Cage will be in there. And we'll see what we get. So let's go ahead and get on out of here. Ronnie Adams, sir, what do you have upcoming on the Screaming Boy Network? Wait a second. The Screaming Boy
We no. On the Screaming Boy podcast,
you know what depresses me?
What?
That the sixth Transformers movie fell off the calendar. It dropped from the 2019 calendar, which means that my plan to cover All Hell Megatron.
Every time I'm starting plugs, he comes off with some harebrained story. You know what I hate? I hate cheese. Why? Who? On the Scream Boy podcast.
Yes, Ronnie.
We have a episode that's going to drop tomorrow. As
You know what got dropped?
this.
Transformers 6 from the 2019 calendar. I can't believe it.
You know what makes me sick? You know what makes me so angry? Ronnie Adams, you have any idea what that is a reference to?
My life.
Earl Pitts, American. All right, go ahead.
It doesn't matter anymore.
No.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Wait.
I don't drink. But I would be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it after this. After doing the show.
Let it be known.
On the Screaming Boy podcast, as we're recording this tomorrow, we are dropping our Let's Go to the Arcade episode, where Jesse Starsher, Pat Mullen, Totally 80s Pat, Josh Calandros, and myself all talked about, the American arcade, where we went and dumped our quarters after searching the couch cushions and breaking the piggy banks and just fed our money into these machines because there was nothing like it. Our consoles, if we had them, did not live up to the graphics and the quality of these giant cabinets with screens in them. We talked about classics like Dig Dug, and the one we missed was Centipede. How did we miss that?
Yep.
But we, Dig Dug and Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
and Dragon's Lair, the most expensive of all sucky games.
Dude, do you remember Dragon Lair's sequel?
Dragon Lair 2, Dragon Harder. I don't know.
Space Ace wasn't actually a sequel.
What? No, yeah, it wasn't a sequel, but yeah, I do remember Space Ace.
Space Ace
didn't do as well as Dragon's Lair.
No, it did not. It wasn't as good.
So, yeah, but yeah, we talked about that, and Jesse regaled us with stories of defecation. When he was
if
manager.
you see the yellow tape, do not cross the yellow tape. That's all I've got to say, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do it.
Air hockey's not that important. It's really not that important.
Do not smell the crap. All right, it's here. Trust me.
And if you haven't caught on, someone pooped in the arcade. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. We've done other episodes. The Empire Strikes Out, where Jesse and I talk about why people hated The Last Jedi so much and why they were wrong. We've got a lot of other episodes on there. We're on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, and right here on the Radulich Broadcast Network on Spreaker and iHeartRadio.
That's right.
Yeah, and social media, you can find us on Facebook, Screaming Boy Podcast, Instagram, Screaming Boy Podcast, and Twitter at Screaming Boy PR. Also, a little personal thing that actually Cole Marion-Tet was on source material. Huh? Yeah, it was on Aquaman, our Aquaman episode. He actually, I saw him do this, sign up for this, and he inspired me to sign up for Extra Life on extralife.org, which is I will be playing video games, streaming live the whole nine, up until the month of November 3rd, at which I will have a 24-hour live gaming marathon. And the entire time I'm doing this, I'm also taking donations for Children's Miracle Network, more specifically Duke Children's Hospital. So all the money goes to sick children. So it's actually a fantastic way to drop a few dollars. It doesn't have to be anything big. You can do $5, whatever you want, $1. But if sharing monetarily is not in the cards for you, then if you see it on social media, please share it that way. Get the word out to other people. So they can share it. And that way we can get get some green in there for some sick kids. Money is what I mean.
That's right. All right, Mark Radulich, regale us of tales of the schedule.
You can find podcast on.
What bothers me? Well, people interrupt my plug for no reason whatsoever.
Does it? Tell me in great detail how that bothers you, Ronnie.
Mark.
No, what I want to know is how much does it bother you when I interrupt you?
I don't know.
You should try to.
Mark, do your plugs. Do your plugs.
I'm trying to, but you insist on doing a bit.
Do them.
There's a podcast.
Do your plugs, Mark.
Tomorrow night on the Radulich
Plugs.
Broadcasting Network on Spreaker.
Do them faster.
Damn you, Hollywood. Death.
Don't make swear.
No, seriously, do them faster.
Tomorrow night on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network here on Spreaker and iTunes and iHeartRadio and Stitcher, we'll be reviewing the new Death Wish with Bruce Willis. We've got a schedule change here on the Metal Hammer of Doom. We were going to do the new Andrew WK, but quite frankly, the new Andrew WK sounds like he got sentenced to doing PSAs for like suicide hotlines. Yeah, it's not good.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So instead, seriously, go listen to it. It honestly sounds like he got sentenced to community service, and so he decided to spend his community service time writing an album that's a PSA for, like, suicide prevention. I don't want to talk about it. I'd rather talk about a good album. So we're gonna review the new Fu Manchu.
That's right.
Oh yeah, because
clone of the
that's
universe.
natural progression.
Ronnie's favorite stoner rock band, Fu Manchu, clone of the universe. We're going to have fun with that one. And then Thursday, I have the dubious honor of prosecuting the 1974 Charles Bronson classic, Death Wish.
You can hear the excitement in his voice.
He loved it, apparently.
It's not a great movie. I understand why people like it. It's just it's a revenge, senseless violence tale, but it's really not a good movie.
Mark, have you seen the new one?
Yes.
What did you think?
I liked it.
Yeah, good. I did too.
It's better than the 1974 version.
My mom went and saw it over the weekend. She used her movie pass. She's used her movie pass way more than I have.
Better than Red Sparrow, that's for sure.
She went and saw Black Panther opening weekend.
Nice.
And I still ain't seen it yet. Way to go, Mom. How was it? It was good. All right.
Jesse, you're gonna go see Tomb Raider when it opens up and join me and Ronnie on Damn You Hollywood?
Oh yeah, I'd be glad to.
Okay. Well, then you got to see it opening weekend.
Oh, okay, sure.
Seriously.
All right, I will. I will. I'll legitimately go watch it.
You have to have seen the movie by March 20th. That's when the show airs.
Okay, I will be there.
Seriously.
Seriously.
All right. So yeah, we've got Mockingbird that went up today. Death Wish tomorrow. Fu Manchu on Wednesday, and then the 1974 Death Wish on Thursday. The following week is spring break. Woo! So you'll hear this show air on the 12th in its edited form, where Jesse's going to attempt to edit out the snarkiness between me and
I'm Ronnie.
Gabriel. And then we'll be reviewing the new Wrinkle in Time from the Mouse, the House of Mouse, and Ministry America Can't, much unlike the Screaming Boy podcast. And then we have a TV party tonight for Jessica Jones. And then finally, it's Tomb Raider week. We've got source material, Tomb Raider Volume 1 from Dark Horse, Season of the Witch. Then we've got the new Tomb Raider on Damn You Hollywood, which, Robert will not be there, but instead I'll have Ronnie Adams of the Screaming Boy podcast and Jesse of this one. And then
he butchers mine and forgets yours.
The Metal Hammer of Doom will review the new Judas Priest, Firepower. And then finally, we're going to put Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, Cradle of Life on trial. And that about wraps it up for me.
All right. If you want to learn about corgi butts, all I ask.
Do you like it in the butt? What?
No.
Corgi butt. Corgi butt.
Do you like it in the butt? I said, what? Corgi butt.
We had a great time. It just aired today. I haven't had the opportunity to promote it, but I can tell you right now, if you have not had the opportunity to listen to me, Mark Radulich, Ronnie Adams, and special guest co-host Alexis Hayna from Honeysuckle Rose Creations, get on and talk about Mockingbird and her feminist agenda. Yes, it was the last 3 issues. It was a 3-issue series. Okay. Of Mockingbird Volume 2. Number 1, it was a good story, but there was a bit of controversy that occurred and a lot of neck bearding, apparently. And also there's a great 5-minute rant that I went on that no one got to hear. So at least if you could tune in for the gag reel. That's at least what you can do. You can find that on Spreaker, and there's a chapter. I like Spreaker. You can put chapters in there, and from henceforth, you can click on gag reel. Just hop right to it. A listen's a listen, in my opinion. I don't care how you get to it. Right, Ronnie Adams?
That's right.
That's right. All right. Go give the Radulich and Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts that we have to offer. I think if I get a chance tonight, I will post the next next 3 months of the Source Material podcast, because we have reached March. We may have some content that anybody out there that's listening may be interested in hopping on an episode with us.
The 26th.
I've got you scheduled for the next 2 years, Mark. Don't worry.
Okay, so March 26th is Superman, The Many Worlds of Krypton. And April 2nd is Injustice, Gods Among Us, Volume 1, Year 1.
It's going to be a good one. I remember that one.
Is Ringside, Volume 1, Kayfabe.
Nice.
And now, because of the stupid fucking schedule change, April 16th is Monsters Unleashed from Marvel. We're skipping a week to do a pair of TV Party Tonights. And then we wrap up the 30th. We wrap up April on April 30th with Thanos, a double shot of Thanos Rising and a revisit of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline brought to you by the good people at Marvel.
Oh, it's good stuff. I'll tell you right now. Have you read the Infinity Gauntlet, Mark?
Yes, when I was a kid.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you right now. I think it's Ron Lim that does the artwork for that. I'll have to look at it again. I'm pretty sure.
Stuff.
Man, I love the artwork in that in that episode. Yeah, that episode, Ronnie Adams. I call them episodes because it's my podcast.
You want me to keep going?
Is that how many? We'll go ahead and we'll stop there. It'll show up
on May 7th. Is He-Man Thundercats.
Oh, yeah. I know we are going to get a guest for that one. I'm fairly sure.
On May 14th
that'll be Clifford.
Is Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunters. On May 21st is Deadpool versus X-Force. And then we finish up May with Star Wars, the Han Solo miniseries.
May get a dueling ogre on for that one.
Did you see?
Very possible. Very possible.
In June.
Did you see where Solo is actually drawing some heat from their movie posters?
No,
because they're rip-offs of album covers.
Right?
Are they really?
Yes.
I did not.
I like that you said that with so much disdain. I found it interesting. Mark found it boring, apparently.
June 4th.
He's got a schedule. Got a schedule, Ronnie.
Lost and Found.
Okay.
June 11th is X-Men Legacy Volume 1.
That'll be some heavy on the Legion.
Yes.
For that.
June 18th is the Fantastic Four, The Trial of Galactus trade paperback from John Byrne. And then finally, to round out June, we're going to take a look at a book that I got from Ollie's. JLA, Salvation Run.
Yeah.
Good book.
Mark, taking it back to the X-Men Legacy, that is...
In July.
No!
I'm just kidding.
That is corresponding with the Legion series on Fox, right?
It sure is, Ollie.
All right. So, like I said, Radulich and Broadcasting Network Facebook page. We're going to post those there. I'll probably post the schedule here later this week. And shout outs to anybody who's interested in joining us for any show. That'd be great. So, for Ronnie Adams, for Mark Radulich, that's right, and myself, Jesse Starcher, this has been Source Materials coverage of Jessica Jones, Uncaged. I want to wish everybody a great evening. Wake up, America! Later. Bye. Bye.
Father, I've forgotten how to music.
No, Ronnie. No.
Ronnie starts doing impressions. Anyway.
Of your son.
Who's English, by the way, apparently.
For some reason, he's British. Father, I want
he was like,
bangers and match with me rotten teeth.
It's my midnight snack. I need some, Father.
At least my kid's not hanging out of his clothes and I'm trying to strangle him.
I don't think Mark's child has rotten teeth. I was making fun of British people.
Well, terrific. Well, that really makes things so much better, Ronnie.
You know what goes on in that book? You want to know what goes on in that book?
Tell me what goes on in that book.
Fuck it in the butt.
I knew it. I knew it was happening. I had a feeling. So,
fuck it in the butt.
No. You have reverted to junior high status tonight.
Bendis and Gatos.
10.
Weird.
Well, yes.
Who has an Wolverine bang?
Professor X.
Good answer.
I don't even want to go there.
Sorry.
You know.
God damn it.
Daddy, I want some meth.
See?
I've already got bad teeth.
I've got rotten teeth.
Yeah, that sounds scary.
I work around a lot of women, and they like to threaten to punch each other in the party tit.
I have
Is
so
there a
many
business
questions.
one and a party one?
I'm not an anatomy expert. Is it okay to punch a woman in her party tit as long as you don't punch the normal tit?
Yeah, I mean, are we getting text messages?
Yes, this is the listen.
It just says stop it.
Why would you nickname yourself the Vag?
I don't know.
Jesse, I forgot how to do a podcast.
Just an asshole. You know he's an asshole. With a haircut like that, you know he's an asshole.
Yes, dude.
Jesse, get out the show. Jesse in the show.
Power Metal Ronnie.
Get out the show.
Mike, don't look at the calendar.
Don't fuck yourself, Ronnie.
That was harsh, Mark.